There is a question that whispers in the halls of power and in the quiet moments of your own life. It's a question that challenges everything you've been taught about being a good person, a good friend, a good leader. Is it truly better to be loved than to be feared? We are told from birth that the answer is yes, that love is the ultimate prize. But a wise and often misunderstood thinker from history would tell you that this comfortable answer is a dangerous trap. Consider the person who is loved by all. They are the friend who always says yes, the manager who never gives negative feedback, the partner who avoids every argument. Their life is filled with smiles, pats on the back, and constant approval. On the surface, this looks like success. It feels warm, safe, and validating. This is the ideal we are all encouraged to chase, to be the person that nobody could ever have a bad word to say about. The path to being loved seems so simple, so righteous. It is paved with compromise, agreeableness, and the constant suppression of your own needs for the sake of others' comfort. You become a mirror, reflecting back what everyone wants to see. The reward is a sense of belonging. You are part of the group, accepted and cherished. This acceptance feels like a shield, protecting you from the harshness of the world, from loneliness, and from conflict. It is a powerful and addictive feeling. Society celebrates this person. They are called kind, selfless, and easygoing. But beneath this celebrated surface, a subtle transaction is taking place. To maintain this universal love, a price must be paid. The price is your own authentic opinion, your unwavering principles, and your ability to stand firm when it truly matters. You are trading your own solid ground for a temporary place in the warmth of the crowd, hoping the warmth will never fade. This is the great lie we are sold, that being liked is the same as being respected. We confuse pleasantness with power and friendliness with influence. We believe that if we are just nice enough, people will do the right thing by us. They will honor our unspoken wishes, appreciate our sacrifices, and remain loyal when things get difficult. We build our entire world on the fragile foundation of other people's goodwill, assuming it will never be tested. In this world of universal love, every interaction is smooth. There are no difficult conversations, no hurt feelings, no necessary confrontations. It is a life lived on an endlessly calm sea. The person at the center of this world believes they have mastered human relationships. They see themselves as a diplomat, a peacekeeper, a source of harmony, but they do not realize they are not the captain of the ship. They are merely a passenger on a vessel they cannot steer. The person who seeks only love measures their worth by the smiles of others. Their self-esteem is an external thing, something they must constantly earn from the outside world. A single frown, a moment of disapproval, or an unreturned phone call can feel like a devastating blow. They are not in control of their own sense of value. They have handed that power over to everyone they meet, hoping that each person will handle it with care. It is a state of constant low-level anxiety. We all start here. We learn early on that being agreeable gets us rewards. We get the cookie, we get the praise, we avoid the punishment. This lesson is carved into us, so we carry it into adulthood, believing it's the master key to a successful life. We think leadership is about being the most popular person in the room, and that strength is about absorbing negativity without ever showing a crack. This is the common wisdom, and it feels completely, intuitively correct. So you build a life on this principle. Your career, your friendships, your family dynamics, all are designed to minimize friction and maximize affection. You become an expert at sensing the mood of a room and adjusting yourself to fit it perfectly. You are a chameleon, brilliant in your adaptation. You have convinced yourself and everyone around you that this is not weakness, but a sophisticated form of social intelligence. You are loved. You have won the game. Or so you think. This is the peak of the world built on love, a perfect, harmonious picture. But now, we must introduce a single element that this world is not designed to handle: reality. Because human nature is not always kind, resources are not always infinite, and sooner or later a difficult choice must be made. And it is in that moment that the person who is only loved discovers the terrifying fragility of their entire existence. The unraveling is about to begin. The first crack appears. A crisis arrives. A tough decision is required that will inevitably upset someone. The friendly manager must announce layoffs. The people-pleasing friend must choose between two friends in a dispute. Suddenly, there is no option that will make everyone happy. The strategy of being universally loved has hit a wall. For the first time, the path is not clear, and the warmth of the crowd begins to feel like a suffocating pressure. This is the moment a philosopher like Niccolo Machiavelli would watch with great interest. He understood that human beings are fickle creatures. He wrote that men are ungrateful, fickle, dissembling, and anxious to flee danger, and greedy for gain. The love they give you when times are good is cheap. It costs them nothing. But the moment you ask something of them, or can no longer provide what they want, that love reveals its true, conditional nature. The person who is only loved tries to negotiate with reality. They try to find a magical third option that preserves everyone's happiness. They delay the decision, hoping the problem will solve itself. They try to absorb all the negative consequences themselves to shield others from discomfort. But this only makes the problem worse. Their hesitation and inability to act decisively are not seen as kindness anymore. They are now seen as weakness and incompetence. The people who loved you a week ago now look at you with disappointment and impatience. Their affection was tied to the benefit you provided, a smooth, easy life. Now that you are the source of a problem, that affection evaporates like morning mist. You haven't changed, the situation has. And this reveals a terrifying truth. Their love was never for you. It was for the comfortable feeling you gave them. You start to feel the weight of invisible chains. Each promise you made, each person you tried to please has become a link. You want to act, to do what you know is right, but you are held back by the fear of disappointing them. You are a prisoner of the very approval you worked so hard to win. The love you sought has become your cage, and your desire to be liked has become the warden. Machiavelli would argue that this is inevitable. Love, he said, is held by a chain of obligation which, because men are wicked, is broken at every opportunity for their own advantage. It is a bond of gratitude, and gratitude is a feeling that fades. You helped them yesterday, but today they have a new problem, and your past kindness is forgotten. You cannot rely on something so flimsy to secure your position or protect your interests. The emptiness begins to set in. The smiles and praise that once fueled you now feel hollow. You realize you have been running on a treadmill, constantly performing, constantly working to keep everyone happy, but you haven't actually moved forward. You have no deep, loyal allies, only a collection of fair-weather fans. In your moment of need, when you need support the most, you look around and find that you are utterly alone. The mask of the people-pleaser becomes impossibly heavy. It takes more and more energy to maintain the smile, to pretend that everything is okay. Behind the mask, doubt and resentment are growing. You start to question everything. Was this constant effort worth it? What did I actually gain from sacrificing my own needs and my own truth for the fleeting approval of others? Was there another way? You see, others who are not universally loved, they are decisive. They set boundaries. They are not afraid to say no. They are sometimes disliked, even criticized, but they are also respected. When they speak, people listen. When they act, things get done. They seem to operate by a different set of rules, a code that doesn't require constant validation from the outside world. They possess a strength you lack. This observation plants a seed of a radical idea. What if the goal isn't to be liked? What if true power and stability come from something else entirely? What if the opposite of love isn't hate, but something far more useful? This is the moment of deep, profound doubt, when the foundations of your worldview begin to crumble. The pain of your situation is forcing you to seek a new, more durable truth. You start to notice the subtle disrespect you've endured, the friend who is always late, the colleague who takes credit for your work, the family member who ignores your boundaries. You tolerated it all because you didn't want to create conflict. You wanted to be loved. Now you see it clearly. Their actions were not a sign of their character, but a direct result of your failure to command respect. You taught them they could treat you this way. The desire for love makes you predictable. People learn that they can get what they want from you by threatening to withdraw their affection. They can use emotional blackmail, guilt, or disappointment to manipulate you into compliance. Your need for approval becomes a button that anyone can push. You are not a leader or even an equal. You have become a tool to be used for the ambitions of others. You feel a deep sense of betrayal, but the most painful part is realizing who betrayed you. It wasn't just them, it was you. You betrayed your own instincts, your own values, your own well-being, all for a prize that turned out to be worthless. You abandoned yourself in the hopes that others would hold you up. This self-realization is brutal, but it is also the first step toward genuine freedom. The lie has been fully exposed. Machiavelli would not be surprised. He built his entire political philosophy on the observation that you cannot trust in the goodness of people, but you can trust in their self-interest. They will always choose what benefits them most and costs them least. Love is a high-cost, low-reliability form of influence. You are asking them to care about you. But there is another form of influence that is low-cost and highly reliable. The pain of this unraveling is a necessary fire. It is burning away the flimsy, comfortable lies you have been telling yourself. It is forcing you to confront the world as it is, not as you wish it were. This is the crucible where real strength is forged. You feel lost, confused, and foolish. This is good. It means you are finally awake and ready to hear the difficult truth that will ultimately set you free. You recall moments where your kindness was mistaken for an invitation for disrespect. The time you lent money and it was never paid back, creating awkwardness. The time you did a huge favor and received no thanks, only another request. You thought you were accumulating goodwill, but you were actually devaluing yourself. You were teaching people that your time, energy, and resources were cheap because you gave them away so freely in exchange for a smile. This path of seeking love above all else leads to a quiet desperation. It's the anxiety of checking your phone for a reply, the sinking feeling of being left out, the exhaustion of constantly performing. It is a life lived in reaction to others. You have no center of your own, no internal compass. You are simply a leaf blown about by the winds of social approval or disapproval. It is a fragile and deeply unfulfilling way to live. You have been trying to build a fortress out of pillows. It looks soft and inviting, but it offers no protection when the storm comes. Your relationships, your career, your mental peace, all are vulnerable because they are built on the hope that the storm will never arrive, but storms always arrive. And when yours did, your pillow fortress was washed away in an instant, leaving you exposed and shivering in the cold. So the comforting lie is dead. The belief that universal love will protect you is shattered. You stand in the ruins of that belief, and the question returns, but this time it's urgent. If love is not the answer, what is? If kindness is not enough, what is required? The world has shown you its harsh, transactional nature. Now you must find a tool powerful enough to navigate it on your own terms. The pain has cleared your vision. You are ready for a truth that is not comfortable or easy, but is solid. A truth you can build on. A truth that will not fail you when it is tested. You are ready to hear the wisdom of the man who looked at the world with unblinking eyes and dared to write down what he saw. You are ready for Machiavelli's answer, and it will change everything. Here is the core revelation, the brutal and liberating truth from Machiavelli. Since love and fear can hardly exist together, if we must choose between them, it is far safer to be feared than loved. This sentence has been condemned for centuries as the mantra of tyrants, but that is a shallow reading. This is not an instruction to be cruel. It is a profound insight into human motivation. Let's break this down. Love is a feeling you hope someone else has for you. You have no control over it. It is based on their perception of your kindness and the benefits you provide. As we have seen, this is fickle. It can vanish the moment it becomes inconvenient for them. It is an external validation you must constantly chase. It is a weak foundation upon which to build anything important in your life, whether a kingdom or your own self-respect. Fear, in the Machiavellian sense, is different. It is not about making people terrified of you in a crude way. It is about creating a healthy and profound respect for the consequences of crossing you. It is a fear of your reaction. It is the certainty that your boundaries are real, that your no means no, and that taking advantage of you will have a cost. Unlike love, this is something you can control. Machiavelli explains why fear is more reliable. Fear, he says, is maintained by a dread of punishment which never fails. People might forget that they love you, but they never forget what they are afraid of. When a person has to choose between their own self-interest and their affection for you, they will likely choose self-interest. But when they have to choose between their self-interest and a guaranteed negative consequence, the calculation changes. Think of it this way: a beloved teacher might be ignored by their students, but a strict teacher who consistently enforces the rules will have an orderly classroom. The goal isn't to make the students miserable, it's to create an environment where learning can happen. Fear of consequence creates structure and predictability. It creates a space where your actual goals, whether it's teaching a class or running a company, can be achieved without chaos. This is the aha moment. Being feared is not about being a monster, it is about being a force of nature. A river is not evil, but people respect its power and do not build their houses too close to its banks. A fire is not evil, but people respect its heat and do not touch it. Being feared, in this sense, is about having your power and your boundaries acknowledged by everyone as a fact of reality. Embracing this means you stop asking for respect and start commanding it. You do this not through anger or aggression, but through consistency. You build a reputation. When you say you will do something, you do it. When you set a boundary, you enforce it every single time. People learn that your words have weight. They learn that your principles are not for sale. This is the source of real, durable power. The person who is only loved is fragile. The person who is only feared can become a tyrant and be overthrown. Machiavelli's ultimate advice is to be feared but to avoid being hated. You do this by being decisive and strong, but also just. You do not take people's property or honor without cause. You punish betrayal, but you reward loyalty. Your strength is predictable and fair, not random and cruel. This transforms your relationships. You no longer tolerate the friend who is always late, you address it. They either change their behavior or the friendship changes. You no longer allow a colleague to steal your ideas. You confront it directly. You might not be as liked, but you will have relationships built on a foundation of mutual respect, not on your silent tolerance of their disrespect. You are breaking the addiction to approval. You are finding your sense of worth inside yourself, not in the fleeting opinions of others. Your self-esteem is no longer a fragile glass heart you offer to the world. It is a fortress you build within yourself, stone by stone, with every boundary you defend and every hard decision you make. This is the beginning of unshakable inner peace and strength. This truth isn't just for princes. It's for the artist protecting their vision, the parent setting rules for their children, the employee negotiating their salary. In any situation where your well-being depends on the actions of others, relying on their love is a gamble. Relying on their clear understanding of the consequences of their actions is a strategy. It is the difference between hoping for the best and ensuring a specific outcome. The real tragedy is that the person who is only loved often ends up being neither loved nor feared. When the crisis hits, their inability to act decisively costs them everyone's affection and earns them no one's respect. They end up with nothing. The person who is feared, but is also just and reliable, may not be loved in a sentimental way, but they earn a much more valuable and durable currency: loyalty. Think of the people you truly respect in your life. Are they the ones who always agree with you and tell you what you want to hear? Or are they the ones who tell you the hard truth, who hold you accountable, whose principles are not for sale? You may not always love what they have to say, but you trust them. You know where they stand. Their strength gives you a fixed point to navigate by. So, the fear Machiavelli speaks of is ultimately a deep respect for your integrity. It's the knowledge that you cannot be easily manipulated, that your principles have a price too high for anyone to pay. This kind of fear does not create enemies. It filters out the users and the manipulators, leaving you with people who are willing to engage with you on a foundation of genuine strength and mutual respect. This is the great exchange. You trade the shallow, unreliable affection of the many for the deep, unwavering respect of the few. You trade the comfort of being liked for the power of being effective. You trade the illusion of harmony for the reality of stability. For Machiavelli, and for anyone who wants to build something that lasts, this is not just a good trade, it is the only trade worth making. The person you were, the one who sought only love, was a boat without a rudder, pushed around by the currents of other people's desires. The person you are becoming is a battleship. You may not be as nimble or as welcome in every port, but you have a direction, you have power, and you can weather any storm that comes your way. You are no longer trying to please the ocean, you are navigating it. This is not a philosophy of pessimism, it is a philosophy of realism. It is about seeing people as they are, a mix of good and bad, noble and self-serving, and building a strategy that works with that reality. By expecting nothing from their love, and instead relying on their rational self-interest, you are freed from constant disappointment. You can finally interact with the world from a position of calm, calculating strength. The ultimate power of being feared is that it gives you the freedom to be genuinely kind when you choose to be. Your kindness is no longer a desperate plea for approval. It becomes a deliberate gift, given from a position of strength. Because people respect your power, your acts of grace and mercy have a much greater impact. They are not taken for granted. They are seen as the conscious choice of a powerful and just leader. So the question was never really loved or feared. It was weak or strong, effective or ineffective, respected or used. Love is a wonderful bonus, a beautiful thing if you can get it. But it is not a strategy for survival. Fear, in the sense of profound respect for your strength and boundaries, is. It is the steel spine that allows you to stand up straight in a world that will constantly try to make you bend. You now hold the key. The fear of being disliked is what keeps most people in a prison of mediocrity. They sand down their edges, silence their opinions, and betray their own interest to stay in the good graces of the crowd. By choosing to be feared, to be respected, you are choosing to be free. You are choosing to live by your own code. It is a harder path, but it is the only one that leads to true self-possession. Now begins the transformation. You start to practice this new philosophy in small ways. You say no to a request that oversteps your boundaries. You state an unpopular but honest opinion in a meeting. You enforce a rule you had previously let slide. Each action feels terrifying at first. It goes against years of conditioning. You expect a catastrophe, a confrontation, a dramatic rejection. And sometimes there is pushback. Some people will be surprised, even offended. They were used to the old you, the one who was easy to control. They will try to guilt you back into your cage. You've changed, they will say, as if it's an accusation. And you will have to find the strength to stand firm and reply, "Yes, I have." This is the first test of your new resolve. This path can be lonely. The fair weather fans will depart. The crowd that celebrated your agreeableness will thin out. You will spend more time alone with your own thoughts and your own principles. There is a period of withdrawal from the drug of constant approval. In this quiet, you will be forced to find your validation from within. You must learn to be your own source of approval. Contrast the two paths. The path of love is a crowded, easy downhill slope. It is full of laughter and pleasantries, but it leads to a gray, uniform city of mediocrity where everyone is the same. The path of fear, of respect, is a steep, rocky, uphill climb. It is often solitary and difficult, but it leads to a vibrant, sunlit peak with a magnificent view. The struggle is what makes the destination worthwhile. But something remarkable happens. As you continue to walk this path, you start to attract different kinds of people. Not fans, but allies. Not dependents, but equals. People who are also strong, who have their own principles, are not threatened by your strength. They are drawn to it. They see you as a reliable, predictable force. They seek you out for your integrity. You start to build a circle of true loyalty. You learn that true confidence is quiet. It doesn't need to shout. The person who is truly feared, in the Machiavellian sense, is often calm. They don't need to threaten or boast. Their reputation precedes them. Their power is in what they don't have to do. They don't have to constantly prove themselves. They have already built their fortress, and now they can simply inhabit it, calmly and securely. Your decisions become cleaner and more effective. Without the need to please everyone, you can focus on the best solution to the problem, not the most popular one. You become a better leader, a better strategist, a more reliable friend, because your actions are now based on principle, not on a desperate need for affection. You are finally free to do what is right, not just what is easy. The struggle of this transformation forges you into someone new. You look back at the person you were, the anxious people pleaser, and you feel a sense of pity, but not regret. That person had to exist so that you could learn this lesson. The pain they endured was the fuel for your growth. You are not just wearing a mask of strength. You have become strong from the inside out. The steel spine is now part of you. This new strength gives you a profound sense of peace. The world no longer feels like a popularity contest you are constantly losing. It feels like a complex, sometimes dangerous but ultimately navigable landscape. You have the right map and the right tools. The anxiety of uncertainty is replaced by the confidence of preparedness. You are not afraid of the storm because you have learned how to build the ship. People's reactions to you have changed. Some may keep their distance, but those who stay will treat you with a new level of respect. They will choose their words more carefully. They will honor their commitments. They will not assume your time and energy are free. They are not acting this way out of love. They are acting this way out of a rational understanding that you are a person whose boundaries are real. And this is far more valuable. The journey from being loved to being feared is the journey from childhood to adulthood. A child wants to be loved unconditionally. An adult understands that respect must be earned and defended. It is the journey from being a passenger in your own life to being the driver. It is difficult, and it requires you to let go of comfortable illusions. But it is the only way to take control of your destination. Your inner world is transformed. The frantic noise of, "What do they think of me?" is replaced by the quiet confidence of, "This is what I think. This is what I will do." You have reclaimed the authority over your own life. You are no longer asking for permission to be yourself. You are simply being. The strength you project outward is a reflection of the order and integrity you have built within. You have learned to wield power responsibly. You understand that your newfound strength is a tool, not a weapon, for indiscriminate use. You are firm but fair. You are feared but not hated. You have found the delicate balance that Machiavelli described. This makes you not a tyrant, but an effective and respected presence in the world. Someone who can protect what they value and create stability for those who rely on them. The transformation is nearly complete. You have walked the lonely path. You have faced the disapproval of the crowd. And you have built your strength from the inside out. You have traded the illusion of love for the reality of respect. You are no longer a mirror, reflecting what others want to see. You are a stone, solid and real, with your own shape and your own place in the world. Now, you stand at the summit. You look back at the winding, difficult path you climbed. You see the easy, crowded road below that you chose to leave. From this vantage point, everything is clear. You understand the choice you made and why it was necessary. You are not filled with arrogance or pride, but with a deep, quiet sense of self-possession. You are finally, truly, in command of yourself. We have journeyed from a comfortable lie to a difficult truth. We saw how the desire to be loved can become a prison, making you weak, manipulable, and ultimately disrespected. We learned from Machiavelli that it is safer to be feared, to command respect for your strength and boundaries, because this is a foundation you can control, a foundation that will not crumble under pressure. Now, the final step is to bring this home. This isn't just a lesson for historical princes. It is a question for you, right now. Where in your life are you choosing to be loved over being respected? Where are you tolerating disrespect in exchange for a fragile peace? Where are you saying yes when your principles are screaming no? The prison of seeking approval is not locked from the outside. The door is open. It is your fear of being disliked that keeps you inside. The choice is not between being a saint and being a monster. That is a false dichotomy designed to keep you compliant. The real choice is between being effective and being used. It's between building your life on the solid rock of self-respect or the shifting sands of others' opinions. To choose respect over affection is not an act of aggression. It is the ultimate act of self-preservation. Start small. Identify one boundary you have let slide. Re-establish it. Do it calmly, firmly, and without apology. Observe what happens. You may feel fear, but you will also feel a surge of your own power. This is you, taking back control. Each time you do this, you lay another stone in the foundation of your inner fortress. You teach yourself and the world around you, how you are to be treated. So is it better to be loved or feared? Machiavelli's answer is clear. If you cannot be both, choose fear. Choose to be a person whose strength and principles are so respected that others would not dare to cross you. Build your world on that foundation, and you will find a security and a peace that the people pleaser can only dream of. The love of the crowd is a fleeting shadow. The respect of your peers is a tangible asset. In the end, the person who commands respect is often the one who receives the most genuine, durable form of love. Not the sentimental, needy kind, but the love born of admiration. People are drawn to strength. They are loyal to integrity. By choosing to be feared, you may ironically end up with a higher quality of love than you ever could have achieved by begging for it. The real answer to the question is to transcend the question itself. The goal is not to be loved or to be feared, but to be yourself, so fully and so unapologetically that your very presence realigns the world around you. You become the fixed point. Let others decide if they will love or fear that fixed point. It is no longer your primary concern. Your concern is to remain true.